Hello, Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here, and welcome to the channel. And welcome to Toy Photographer Showcase Live. Yes, hello everybody, hoping you're all keeping well, and like I say, welcome to Toy Photographer Showcase Live. So this is a live stream and like a series that I enjoy doing, and myself and my co-host Mark BobaHicks, who I'll be bringing on in a second, we like to chat to guests about their toy photography. So if you like Star Wars and you like Star Wars toy photography, you're in for a treat tonight. But I just want to quickly say hello to the chat now. Here we go. We've got a couple of people in the chat. So, evening, fellas. Hello, Georgie. Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. And we've got Des T. Hello, Des. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you. And we've also just been joined by Jason. Travels and more Jason. Hello. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. So, there's the chat for the time being. Let's get my co-host on. And that is Mark. Hello, sir. How are you? You all good?
He's going, Stu. Yeah, I'm good. Hope you're good. Hope everybody in the chat is good too. It's the weekend, finally.
Yes. Yeah. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Even though it's been a 4-day week for us, it's always the way. Always seems like the week is longer, even though it's 4 days. But glad you could join us. Thank you very much. Now, once again, as you can see, I've got one of your toy photography photos as the background there. So what I'm going to do is put the overlay on. Talk us through this, Mark, because let me just get rid of that. This is absolutely stunning. And I often go through your repertoire when I'm looking for a picture to find for your toy photography. I just think this is brilliant. And as we're going to be predominantly looking at Star Wars toy photography tonight, this is superb, mate. So talk us through this, pal.
Well, thanks very much, Stu. And as always, I'm grateful for you, showcasing some of my own photography at the start of these shows. It means a lot to me. But yeah, look, I'm fond of this one myself, I have to say. I think it turned out pretty nice. Stormtroopers, I think, you can look at those helmets and they kind of have no expression really. But if you just kind of tilt them a certain way or pose them a certain way, you can kind of get a lot out of them. And this is just one of those shots. It worked out well. It was a decent dry day. I was able to bring a few troops out and just set them up in like natural enough, kind of semi-random poses, but it's a patrol essentially, is what I'm trying to convey here. Maybe out in the Dune Sea, the Jundland Wastes, perhaps. Out in patrol. So, and Star Wars Black Series, what can I say? The figures do a lot of the heavy lifting, as always. When you've got decent looking figures, it brings out the realism. So yeah, I am fond of this one. The beauty of this is it's really, really easy to set up. You need nothing apart from the figures. Like, so those figures are literally just standing on pile of rocks. Look, I know it. Nothing new from me. That's usually the secret technique. What did you use there? I used a pile of rocks. There's always a pile of rocks nearby. Look, throw a few figures on. If you just get the right angle in the right at the right time of day, you can make a little bit of magic. So, yeah, nice and easy to set up. My kind of. It's, you might call it a bit lazy. I call it like guerrilla toy photography. You just have your phone, you have a few figures, and you get to work. It's nothing professional like the guest we're going to have on this evening. It's not to
talk yourself down. I mean, don't talk yourself down, because I love your toy photography, because you do a lot of it outside, and I just think with the sky it really sells it. I mean, I know we've said it on many occasions when we're looking at other people's toy photography, but honest to God, that could be from a movie or a TV series. It is that good. And honest to God, Mark, that is one of my favorites, mate. And how I've not noticed that one before, I don't know. But it took a while for me to find something, because I was going to go for your normal alien stormtroopers thing. But I saw this and I thought, well, no, I'm liking this. I mean, you got lucky with the sky on this one, didn't you?
Yeah. I find where I live, you either go early in the morning or late in the evening. You either go for
Yeah,
the dawn or you go for the dusk. It always you can get, if you can get that just, at the right time, it can really add a lot. Um,
yeah,
you know, I know we always ask people, is there anything they'd change about their pictures? The only thing that was kind of missing that the day I was taking these photos was the sky was just kind of, it was overcast, but it wasn't crazy cloudy. So, with a lot of my pictures, I usually like kind of dramatic looking clouds, coming in. I'd go out
yeah.
in the wind and the rain almost to get a kind of dramatic sky. It was kind of a hazy, overcast morning that morning, so wasn't the same dramatic effect I'd usually get. But look, it turned out pretty well.
I mean, I don't know. Let's just get it up again. I don't know. I think that looks pretty dramatic enough, Mark. I really do. That looks like. I mean, you could be mistaken for thinking that was like dusk, sort of like coming towards the end of the day on Tatooine or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
don't sell yourself short, mate. That is just absolutely. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolute
I
awesome.
really, I
Awesome.
really appreciate
No, no,
the
no. You're welcome,
appreciate the
man.
compliments too.
You're welcome.
Very
Right, we've
grateful.
got a few more people in the chat, so let's just quickly say hello. We've got JT, ahoy, folks. Hello, sir. How are you? We've got Kieran Ball. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. We are joined by other people. Let me just get down to the chat. Where are we? That's Georgie. Right, we've got Mrs. T. Hello, Mrs. T. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. There you go. Looks great. That's from Travels and More with Jason. Thank you very much, Jason.
Yes.
Very much appreciated. We've got Martin from a long time ago. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. Jonathan Redmond. Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Hoping you're keeping well. Lovely video you did with Connor yesterday. The tribute to Brian. Absolutely superb, mate. Nice one. And we've got TJC. Hello, sir. How are you? TJC will be on tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I do believe, on his gaming channel there. I'm not too sure what game you're going to be playing, TJC, but always enjoy watching those. What's this? Hi, Martin. Looking forward to seeing some of your figures released from their cards. Oh, right. Yeah, because Martin's opened up some figures. Ooh. What's this? The picture is so good. I thought it was a scene from... Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I thought it was awesome. We've got Connor. The real mystery here was BobaHicks managed to stand 4 Black Series at the same... Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, are they easy to stand the Black Series?
They're easy to stand when you kind of wedge them in between some rocks. When if you'll notice kind of the angle I've shot that at, you can't, like the 3 of them, you can't really see their feet. The rocks, I'd say at least one of them is kind of wedged in between 2 rocks to actually keep them posed and stop them from falling forward.
Yeah.
One problem I tend to run into is the wind. So if it's anyways kind of breezy at all, the figures fall over. So you kind of have to work out a few guerrilla tactics to kind of wedge them in between, the scenery, just to keep them from knocking over.
And we've got JT there, a pile of rocks. That sounds expensive. Oh, yeah.
Price of rocks is crazy, through the roof.
We've got George Aiken. Oh, hello. How are you, George? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much.
George.
We've got Jesse, the Epic Badger. Hello, sir. Nice of you to join us. Thank you. Hoping you're keeping well. I'm going to be doing a live stream with Jesse. I need to organise that. That'll probably be in a couple of weeks' time. What's this? BobaHicks. She was right about not selling yourself short, and he's an expert at being short. Oh, do you know what? Can we please just have one live stream where someone doesn't mention my height? Unbelievable. But thank you very much, Jonathan. Oh dear. Every live stream. It's all good. We've got Hoppy. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Nice to see you. Nice. Right. What's this? Oh, Jesus. Just type the above and Stu says something so nice. Cheers, mate. That's all right. It's okay. No worries. And what's this? The true magic of this picture is finding a brown location in the country of Ireland. Ooh, there you are.
It's mostly green. There you go.
Yeah. And what's this one? Ho. I'm sending some pics of my unopened stuff. He will have a heart attack. Oh, right. Okay. I guess you're talking about Martin. Right. Shall we get our guest on?
Yes, yeah, I'm dying to get on our guest.
Why not?
A returning guest.
Returning guest, yes. It's Layne from GalacticPhotography66. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How about you guys?
I'm all right. I'm not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. As BobaHicks pointed out a bit earlier when we was off air, it's been 2 years since we did our last episode together. That is wow.
Yeah, which is still wild to me because
Yeah, yeah.
like we were talking about it, it doesn't feel anywhere near that long ago.
No,
But time flies.
it certainly does. It certainly does. Oh, hang on, what we got here? What's this? A live stream where we don't mention Stu's height. Well, unlike Stu, that's tall. There you go. There you go. And Stu's shortcoming. Yes, yeah, very good. Unbelievable. Yeah, I know. 2 years ago. So the last time we spoke, Layne, we were on the 24-hour charity live stream, and you said something to me that I kind of like didn't really sink in until after we'd had the conversation. You're no longer using Black Series for your toy photography photographs.
No.
Is that right? Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've completely swapped over to vintage collection. Because I mean, growing up, I collected mostly 3 3/4 inch figures, and then I kind of switched into Black Series with getting like some vintage collection and 3 3/4 inch here and there. And since then, as of maybe the past 2 or 3 years, I've just kind of been slowly like getting rid of my Black Series stuff. I've kept some of the ones that I really like, some of the more like sentimental ones, like the first ones I got, or the main characters that I really like. But yeah, from that point on, I've just really kind of went full-fledged back into 3 3/4 inch and vintage collection and all that.
Okay. So with that, what are the differences between taking toy photography of like your Black Series compared to your TVC?
I found Black Series to be incredible for like detail work because like all those figures being a larger scale, they're packed with so much detail that you can see and get really close up with a camera.
Yeah.
And that detail shows up really well. Where with vintage collection, I found it to be easier to fill out a scene with a lot of characters because like if I wanted to do a busy cantina scene with Black Series, that you need a lot of room to fit enough Black Series figures to make a busy cantina. But with like vintage collection, you can pack a bunch of aliens and a bunch of this, and you can blend figures that came out 20 years ago with figures that just got to the house yesterday, and you can kind of put them all in there together and and fill out that scene better.
I mean, other than that being the reason, is it easier to take photographs of the 3 3/4 inch, or is it? I mean, I'm assuming you're going to go through the same process.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the same process. There is, I feel like some parts of it that are a little more challenging in if, it's similar to Black Series, if you do have a larger setup, if one falls down, they're all going down.
Right. Yeah.
It's dominoes, especially when you have, them packed in. But I find that they have things that they are better at, and then they kind of have their own unique set of challenges. In that working with something smaller, it can sometimes be harder to make it feel bigger, and make it have that presence of like if I want to make something that feels more cinematic, sometimes it can be a little harder to make that feel not this big and make it feel like it's like a human. So I find that can be a little.
We'll be the judge of that, Layne. We'll be the judge of that because I've seen what you've sent us over, and I'm pretty cool. So let me just catch up with the chat, and then we'll get into your photos. So Kieran, a very tall order for Stu, as he cannot reach 5'6" inches. What in? Unbelievable. Well, 3.75 is the best scale. That's Des T. So can't argue with that. I was just Jason and Steph. If you're here, you guys seen the not Lego companies are putting out that £1,000 Death Star. Ooh. Oh, there you are. Cheap shot. Yeah. What's this? Oh, I haven't, Jonathan. I'll search for it. Okay, they're having like a little private conversation. And Des, you are correct. 3.75 is the best size. Okay. We've got Luke from Any World But Ours. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice you to join us. Had a great conversation with Luke the other week. So the episode of my childhood toy memories that should have been posted last week, but I was having internet issues trying to get it up onto YouTube and stuff like that. And so it went up yesterday. So I apologise for that, Luke. What's this? Sorry, Connor. If it helps, that shot was from a stormtrooper. Very good. And what's this? Steph, not sure the company's name is name as Lego is not my cup of tea, but heard people talking about it in a live stream today. Oh, there you are. Okay. What's this, Jonathan? I saw a couple when I was in Thailand. It didn't take too long for them to do it. Okay. Hope you're all good. Yeah. Not bad. And oh, hello, by the way, to Lady Stephanie. Thanks for the heads up, Jonathan. I'll see what we can find. Okay. They're just having a conversation. I just feel like I'm just, I don't know. Hang on. What's this? A question for Boba and Layne. What's the hardest Photoshop picture you guys have ever done, and how did it turn out? Okay, so we'll start with you, BobaHicks.
Hardest one ever. I would say it was probably the one I did. It's pinned on my Instagram profile. It's a picture of a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles foot soldiers trying to like lasso a dinosaur.
Is that the Spinosaurus one?
That's the Spinosaurus one.
Yeah.
That shot was I won't even say the word. It was a real pain to kind of get going, especially just trying to get the figures like to make it look like they were like holding the ropes and like pulling at the dinosaur and stuff. It was just a nightmare to get the posing and the angle correct on it. Got there eventually though, but that was multiple shots, multiple failed attempts with like figures being knocked over, figures falling over the fence, and me having to hop over the fence, go into the field, get the figures, go back, set them up again, so it wasn't like nightmarish, maybe that was probably too strong a word to use, but it was definitely a tough shot to pull off.
I mean, how long would you say that took you from start to finish to get that shot?
Probably maybe just under an hour, but it was the most like frustrating hour of my photography career, photography life. It was just a pain, an absolute pain. But I think it worked out well in the end. I was happy with the picture.
Yeah, no, it's a great picture for sure. And if you want to check out any of Layne's toy photography or BobaHicks' toy photography, I've left their social media links in the description below to this live stream. So Layne, what about you, sir? What's your toughest photo that you've taken?
The first one that came to mind, and I can't remember if we talked about it last time or not, because I don't remember if it was around that period that I had done that one or not, but I did a cantina shot, but it was with the Navarro Cantina walls. So they're those like the ones that are super thin and everything. And I had a bar at the front with like Hondo leaning up to it, and it had like Max Rebo in the background and all this stuff. But the way that I had laid it out, I couldn't get the walls to stay standing, and I had tried to weigh them down, and they just would not stay, and they kept knocking over all the figures on it. So like, it's all that. And then behind the very back window, I had used a TV as a digital backdrop to have like Tatooine and stuff. And so every time those would fall over, it would knock over all the figures, and then I'd have to get them stood back up. And that was one that I worked on it for a while. I don't remember how long now, but I was like, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to come back to this in a minute because it's set up on my desk. I can come back to it. Don't have to worry about, weather outside or light, sunlight fading or anything. I'm like, I'm just going to step away from this and come back, and we'll try it again in a minute. And then, it worked out once I got everything balanced, but it was definitely a struggle because I was also trying to use a little spray of atmosphere aerosol in it to give this little bit of haze and stuff. And every time I would do that, if I was too close, the air from the can would knock somebody over, which would then knock somebody else over. And it was,
you've got to have so much patience. I mean, that's one thing that I can like safely say I don't have much of, his patience, especially when it's coming to something like that. I think I'll just go, oh. But I mean, at the end of the day, because of your patience, you do manage to get some great shots.
Yeah, it's fun, and it definitely is a test of patience sometimes. Depending on the shot. And there's times where I come down and I've thought about like I've been at work and I've had this idea and it's been up here all day, and I'm like, what if I do this, and I could do this, and I could put this here, and then I come down and set up the studio or whatever, and I get it laid out, and I went, yeah, that didn't come together. That didn't happen. It did not. That didn't pan out the way that lunch break me thought that it would pan out. But there's a lot of times where if I come down, I can find a balance of what I wanted to happen and what did happen, you know.
Yeah. No. I mean, for the most part, it's got to always have a good outcome, surely. Like for the most part, yeah. A high percentage of your frustrations turn into a great shot. I would imagine. Right, let's just quickly catch up with the chat because I'm very impatient and I want to get this. No, I'm only going on what Jonathan said. The answer you're looking for, BobaHicks, is trying to get Stu in the photo to look in scale with the. Dude, God's sake! Oh dear. I know where you're coming from, Jesse. There was a conversation going on there. And what's this? I confirm that Stu has zero patience. Oh, cheers. Oh, it wasn't Jonathan Redmond. It was Georgie. Yeah, cheers, Georgie. Thanks for that, love. Appreciate that. Right. Okay. Let's take a look at some of your toy photography, shall we? Starting with this one. Wow. I mean, obviously, you've got yourself the Cantina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did get the Cantina.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. First impressions, Boba?
Unbelievable. Brilliant photo. You're going to hear me say that quite a few times, I'm sure, on this live stream. Absolutely love it. Like straight away, just, a scene with real life, conversation at a bar. It's just beautiful, beautifully lit. I love the figures in the background. It's great. I really, really like it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact I knew we were talking about toys, obviously you could be mistaken that it's a shot from a movie, and that's what I love about it. It's there's a real life to it.
Yeah, I mean, I always love the photos where you've got like a bit of haze, whether it's the character in the foreground that's slightly sort of out of focus or the guys in the background. And I think what that does is really focuses on the three guys at the bar. And yeah, it's just absolutely stunning. Now, I have the Cantina myself, and I know for a fact how much of a ball ache it was to get that bar put together. So talk us through this, please, Layne. Hello, are we? What's going on?
There we go. Okay, we're back now. Are you guys there?
No worries. Yep, okay. Good.
We froze for a second. So I heard part of that. I heard part of the question. Could you fit? I heard up to about how hard.
Did you hear the bit when I said about it being a ball ache to set the Cantina up?
Yeah.
You did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
What I was going to say is, well, just talk us through this photo.
So this one was a celebration for when the LAAT funded.
Yep.
I saw a comment. I think it was on the SWTVC stream that they did of like their countdown and postmortem that they always do for the HasLabs. And I was watching that, and somebody in there, and I don't remember who, mentioned that was like, hey, somebody needs to do a toy photography shot of clones celebrating at the Cantina. Now that we have the Cantina in hand and that this is funded, we need to, somebody should do that. And I wanted to run with that because I thought it was a really cool idea, to like have these clones that are going to a Cantina, whether it's Mos Eisley or whatever, and maybe they're celebrating at their favorite bar because they're getting ready to get restationed somewhere else, or something kind of like that. So I think the caption on that I kind of had along the lines of like, it was dialogue from the clone talking about how he had just gotten reassigned to like the pilot program, so now he was getting ready to jump ship and go fly some LAATs. But it was definitely a challenge to light up and set up. There, I have a little, I don't have it near me, but I've got little square panel LEDs that are just about this big, that I was able to set up on top of the bar, to kind of illuminate down underneath it. And then I had another light back behind, which that backdrop back behind the doorways is actually this. It's the Jabba's playset, the little tiny one, with the mounted tauntaun and everything on it. So that's that back behind that, lit up by a little LED. And then I've got these little tiny, see, there's actually one right here, little tiny ball LEDs that are just little guys that I put under the tables to light up.
Can you turn those on and off?
You can, if you keep the little plastic tab to stick back in between the batteries.
Right, I see. Okay, yeah.
So I try to do that, or a piece of paper if you can, shove it down in there, you can save them. But otherwise, yeah, it's a little, they'll light up forever. So that was really just kind of the goal, was to do kind of a moody cantina shot that, kind of grimy, kind of, underbelly-ish.
No, that looks awesome, and I can see you've got one of those like little LED lights under one of the tables in the foreground there. I've just noticed as well you've got like a bottle of drink on the top of the bar as well, which is slightly out of focus. Again, I just love that kind of effect. So Fuller's Figures has put cracking photo, yeah, absolutely. And then Georgie's got a question for both of you. Have you ever used physical fireworks outdoors for effects, explosions, etc.? Ooh, we'll start with you, Layne.
I have a couple times. Whenever I did Black Series, I did one picture with some First Order stormtroopers, and I had a firecracker and some like dirt and stuff, and I kind of stuffed the firecracker down under the dirt so that it would blow it out. And then I did another one with, and this one was a little wild. I'll have to go back and see if I can find it. It was another Black Series shot, but I did a picture with a firecracker and not thinking there was sawdust on the ground that then caught on fire and sent a fireball around my Han Solo. Thankfully, thankfully Han wasn't injured, but in the picture it's really cool because you can see it, like it kind of wraps around the front of him a little bit. You can see it in the picture. I'm like, yeah, and I've not done it since.
Well, no, fair enough.
That's the end of that adventure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what about you, Mark?
I never tried any heavy duty fireworks. The most I tried was a bit of those little white powdery like smoke bombs you can get. You can light them and it will give off a kind of little bit of phosphorus smoke or whatever. I've just been too afraid really to light fireworks in my house, and I don't want to accidentally blow up any of my stuff either. So I'd need to commit to some serious planning, I think, to be able to pull off something like that. I've seen some great results though from people who have used fireworks in their photos, great explosive effects and action shots. But yeah, I've been too cowardly to dabble really properly with them up until now.
No. I mean, I think we spoke to one guy, didn't we? Who'd actually used like mini fireworks and explosives to do some of his action shots, didn't he? I think that was Nate.
That's right.
A few years back. Yeah. So JT's put, the bartender is saying, I hear that the Jedi are secretly the enemy. Clone Trooper, nah, they're all right. Nothing could make me turn on my Jedi general. Nope, not a thing. There you are. Yeah. That's probably the conversation right there, JT. I mean, with this one, from start to finish, how long did it take before you were actually happy with it?
I probably worked on this one. Usually for bigger shots like this, I'm usually down here at least an hour tweaking things and playing around with like getting people posed exactly where they wanted, and you can't really see it because it is out of focus in the front. But I can't remember if I have behind the scenes pictures of this one or not, but like each of the tables, so like right there in the table that's lit up right in the very front is another clone trooper seated there, and is like his helmet's on the table, and he's got a couple empty glasses on the table.
Oh, okay.
And you can't really see it. It was, because it's all out of focus now. But those little cups are a struggle. All 800 of them that came with the cantina. And then back there behind, I think that's Hondo over here by the other table.
Okay.
There's like some cups and things, but even farther back, one thing that I did want to mention, that because there is one figure in this it's not Star Wars. It's not even really anything like at all that I could think of.
Right.
He's back there with Ayla Secura, and it's just this figure that I've had since I was younger, and I've always put him with my Star Wars stuff, but he's just one of those knockoff action figures that like they sold at like the dollar store. It's just like super cheap.
Yeah.
And he's got like some articulation like at the elbows and at the knees and stuff, but I've always lumped him into my Star Wars stuff, but he's not. He's just an honorary member.
Fair play.
He's out on the shelf, upstairs, and with my Moss Isley Streets of Moss Isley walls. He's on my little section of that, sitting on like the stairs.
Oh, cool.
But it's definitely, this one was probably over an hour to get it just exactly how I wanted, and you know, of course, figures are going to fall down a little bit and things like that whenever they're, you know, for inanimate objects, they're very fickle subjects.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next one, Mark, is there anything else that you want to sort of like say on this one? Oh, I think you're on mute, Mark.
I was just going to ask, is there other figures outside of this picture that we are not seeing? The reason I ask is I've looked at a few of your reels before, when you kind of shown behind the scenes for setting up your shots, and I've noticed you actually kind of like to create an actual full scene fleshed out with characters, even if you don't actually shoot all the characters or all the areas. You kind of have like a fleshed out, you know, area. Is there like, you know, other cantina patrons that I don't see, or like sitting at other tables or in different areas?
Yeah, so over here on the front side, over on the right, but where like the purple big drink canister is, I did have Wooher over there.
Okay.
You know, I think you can see a little bit of his shoulder just right there, right next to it. And I want to say I had another alien over there. I don't remember if it was like Nebrun Leeds or somebody else, but there was another alien. The other side of the table here with the clone trooper at the front, I had, I think, another clone trooper seated with him. But I do like to fill out, you know, like a whole, like you said, I do like to fill out more than necessarily what I will end up capturing.
Yeah.
And I think like one of the things I do whenever I plan out like a toy photography shot, is I like to go over in my head and think, you know, if this is a scene, what dialogue is being said, you know, from like a movie standpoint, or what's happening, you know, on a larger scale. And that kind of helps me figure out where I need to end up at with it. Just because I like to make it a little mini, like we're just capturing a moment of a day, you know, of whatever's happening in here. So it kind of helps to fill it out a little further, to think like what else is happening over here, just in case we do end up seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, when you know you set a scene up, and so like you've got figures scattered around all over the place. When you do that, are you going in with the intention of getting everybody in the shot, or are you just, or is it just a case of, right, okay, I've got everybody set up, but I'm gonna solely focus on this one? Because I know, I mean, for me, again, lack of patience, I would probably just set up the figures that I'm going to be taking pictures of. I wouldn't even consider having anybody else on the outside if I wasn't going to be having them in the shot. So are you consciously aware that when you do that, you're not going to be using them, or is it just in case?
It's more of a just in case, because I do hope that, like, I want to capture as much there as I can, you know. And so if I set up these characters, I don't necessarily want to exclude them, but there's times that, like with this, it just felt like we were too far away, you know. If I tried to also get Wooher on the other side of this table, then it felt like the clones and the bartender kind of got lost a little bit, you know, because they were so far away, and it felt like we were like staring at them from way far away, where I wanted it to feel a little closer. So for like this one, the hope was to capture more people. It just kind of didn't end up being that. And then there are times where I do it and I'm like, yeah, I'm cramming as many people in this, just the camera site. You know, there's times where I'll set up the camera first, and there's times where I set up the shot first. This was one where I set up the shot first and then brought the camera in to capture whatever worked best. But whenever I do like bigger street scenes or bigger, like busier scenes, it's almost always camera first, so I can go, okay, yeah, this guy I don't need all these people. I just need right here.
Yeah. No, fair play. Right, let's move on to the next one. Again, just absolutely awesome, Mark.
Amazing. I'm not going to really ask you how you do your special effects. I'll let the magician keep his secrets there for that one. Yeah, but it looks fantastic. You know, deflecting the blaster bolt with the lightsaber, great action shot. great lighting coming out of that. Is it like it's like a doorway to her side
Mhm.
there? That kind of orange light coming out really, really looks great. Love seeing all the smashed up battle droids on the floor as well. Just an
Yeah.
awesome scene. I'm guessing there's like a couple of layers of diorama here. Is this
Mhm.
something you built yourself or?
This is this is Hasbro's. It's actually the Moff Gideon's Imperial Light Cruiser
Oh,
setup
okay.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I use it a lot just across eras since we don't really have a good proxy for like a separatist ship or or for a republic ship just yet. So I kind
Yeah.
of work it in with whatever it can kind of be a stand-in for.
Yeah, it's just superb. And again, I love the way you've got the droid in the foreground there, slightly out of focus. The focus is all on Shakti, but I love the lighting. I mean, how important would you say lighting is for doing your toy photography, Layne?
It's usually probably about 90% of my focus.
Yeah,
Um, just lighting has always been something that I've really loved to play with. Um, and I feel like even whenever you look at something on a grander scale, like I'm not making movies necessarily, but when you watch a
yeah,
movie that doesn't have good lighting, it makes it harder for you to connect with the story that's being told.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I kind of like to take that approach of, if the lighting is good, then I can, then posing, of course, will be elevated, by your lighting,
yeah,
and then you can fill in your effects, later on if you have some that you need to do. But
yeah.
it's about probably 85 to 90% of the focus.
Yeah. No, I was going to say because and with that particular place that you've used, Moff Gideon's hallway there, I
Mhm.
think it works well for this because would you say if it was like the Tantive 4 sort of playset, it would the setting would be too bright because of the white walls and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I think using that, I think it's absolutely superb. And I just want to say as well, if you ever think about doing comic books, you've got someone who's going to be doing your 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 dialogue for you. Clone Trooper. I know Anakin Skywalker, bartender. I wouldn't say that name in these parts. Clone. Why not bartender? Well, I don't know. I suppose it doesn't hurt, Anakin Skywalker. Okay. Oh, there you are. See, I mean, there you are. You've got your own story writer there. So
See,
awesome stuff.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Matt's collection. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice you to join us. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Boba, anything else on this one?
It's always the little things I appreciate. I love the way the battle droid. He looks like he's tripped. He's been killed coming out that doorway, and he's tripped. His feet are still the other side
Mhm.
of the door. I just love the way they're kind of splayed out, and I think we're only two pictures in, but already I think Layne has proved his point about the versatility of TVC figures versus
Yeah.
Black Series figures because like you couldn't set something like this up in Black Series and have as much. Like look at all those, like how many battle droids do you have here, Layne? Is that like five or six battle
Uh,
droids you've got on in this
yeah, I
picture?
think. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think 6 for this one.
Wow.
Like it's a
Wow.
lot,
Um,
but it's great though how everything is just framed in such a way that we see the fallen battle droids kind of both up close and in the background as well, while we still
Yeah.
have this kind of action shot going on. I just really like it. Like it really just once again, it's like realism, could be
Oh,
a movie
yeah.
still.
Layne, what is that in the doorway next to Shaq T? There's something lying through the doorway. What is that?
so that is a battle droid. Um, that's his legs sticking out there.
Right.
And then
Okay.
like yeah, and then like what you were talking about, Mark. One of the things I love too is the battle droid right here, about the middle of the way down, but closer up. I popped his head off so that it looks like it's been like
Oh yeah.
cut instead, so it's kind of laid here loose instead of actually still being attached. And so that was kind of not
Wow.
infrequent in in the prequels and in Clone Wars that battle droids would get decapitated. And so yeah, but yeah, that guy laying kind of through the doorway. I like the idea that he was. I mean, maybe even like he was trying to get out of there, or trying to get back to inform the droid leader, like, hey, we got a problem, and he didn't quite get there.
Because I wouldn't have even said that was a battle droid. That's why I asked. It's yeah. Oh, my bloody eyes. Right, let's move on to the next one then. Number 3. And see, I know you've got a Demigorgon there, but the lighting in this is just absolutely phenomenal. The way that's lit. Mark, what do you think of this one, mate?
My favorite one so far, and I do love a wild crossover, and like straight away, Stranger Things, Star Wars crossover. That I love. This is like taking something like, if I was a kid playing with my toys, I'd be mixing and matching the stuff. So being able to like take an actual realistic picture with them, it's just phenomenal. Yeah, I'll echo what Stu said as well. The lighting is just brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Love the posing of the troopers as well. Taking cover behind these kind of crates or boxes. Really, really well done. Is this the Gideon cruiser again, or have you? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. It's so cool, man. The way you can make something so different out of what that actually is. Like, and to be honest, if you hadn't revealed that you'd used it in the last one, I wouldn't have even asked for this one, because I definitely wouldn't have known what it was. It just looks amazing.
But I love the fact that you've got something hanging off the door as well, Layne. I think that is so cool. I mean, that's such a great effect. And you've obviously added like a little bit of atmospheric mist and stuff like that. With just absolutely superb. I know BobaHicks, I know you like doing crossovers with your photography. Is that something that you normally do, Layne, or is it just, is it every once in a while?
It's really just every once in a while. And really the main reason I did this one was because I had found this like the Demogorgon figure at Target, and I picked it up because I was like, oh, this is cool, and it's 3 3/4 inch, so it can scale with what I already use.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have a lot of other lines that can cross over. I feel like with mostly doing 3 3/4 inch now, it's a little harder. But my focus on this was I don't have like a xenomorph in 3 3/4 inch, so I really wanted, and I liked kind of embracing almost a feeling like Alien, in terms of with the haze and the fog, and the like steam coming from all the parts of the spaceship, and like you had mentioned, Stu, like the thing hanging down from the door, like there's piping that's loose, and it's kind of horror infused, but still sci-fi. And that tube hanging down from the door is the E-Web cannon. It has that little plastic tube that goes from the bottom of the gun into that power, like the power box or whatever that is. That's that I've got blue tacked on the other side, so hanging down. There is another Demogorgon on the other side of the door, but you can't really see him because they got blocked by the stormtrooper's head. But
you can just about make him out. But just going back to that piece hanging from the door, it's little details like that really sort of add to the whole atmosphere of the picture. It's absolutely superb. So just to quickly catch up on the chat. So this photo is already better than all of Stranger Things season 5. I think that's a bit harsh. I quite enjoyed season 5, Matt, but there you go. How did you add the mist? Is it a camera effect, or are you guys chain smoking during the shot? Oh God.
So I have either a can of atmosphere aerosol, which I'm running low on, but I've actually got this right next to me. This is a little fog machine, it's got a remote, a little portable one. Yeah. And it's got like attachments and little things like that. Like it's got a little foam top that you can make like heavier fog with, or it's got the other one. So that's what I used for this.
Yeah.
Because you can just kind of fill up that scene and not have to worry about it. And it's all I think it's like water and like vegetable glycerin based smoke like fluid. So you can make it at home, and it's not like super smelly or gross or chemically or potentially hazardous.
I'm just blown away by this one. I really am. Des has put, it's a shame we didn't get more Stranger Things figures, and Des T's Matt's put very cool. Absolutely very cool. Mark, anything else you want to say on this one?
Just really love it, man, and I'd love to get something like this going for doing like alien shots or like things in that theme. Like it's so good. It maybe got me thinking of if I did downscale in scale to 1/18 to 3 3/4 inch stuff, you do have a lot more options for setting up these type of scenes. And I do get to what Layne is saying. Maybe it's a bit tougher though to find figures that are in scale, like with your Star Wars TVC. There's lots of like 5 POA stuff, but very hard to get like highly articulated stuff like the TVC. Because I have to say as well, like one thing I know we're 3 photos in now. The figures are obviously smaller than Black Series, but the detail on them is superb. Like they're really well detailed figures, especially for their scale. They look really good. But this photo is just masterful. Like it's just a beautiful shot. It really is.
Yeah, it's stunning, and I've just noticed you've actually got the shadow of the Demogorgon just coming down the bottom of the screen there. It just by his left foot, and that is just stunning. Mate,
yeah, that one was kind of a happy accident with his shadow kind of on the bottom, because the fog setting that I was using on this was the heavy low laying fog, so it kind of acts a little like dry ice, where it's like it kind of keeps that really low. So enough of it was coming through and starting to kind of swirl up with like a little bit of air movement to give it that haze, but then a lot of it still lingered on the floor and hadn't fully like rolled off of the floor yet. So whenever I took it, it was able to, the light is kind of catching it and glowing it, except for where his shadow is. And so that was kind of a happy accident in the moment, but I'm going to take it and run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not, man? That's awesome. JT, your writer there, Demogorgon. No one wants to play with me. Well, there you are. But
I'm going to start putting speech bubbles.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. I mean, this. I just love this shot. And again, like we've said, or BobaHicks said, you've used that same playset. But again, you wouldn't think it was that same playset. That's the thing. That's the beauty of it. And it's just, this is by far my favorite so far. It's just absolutely breathtaking. Awesome stuff. Okay, Mark, is there anything else you want to say on this one before we move on to the next one? Oh, you're on mute again, Mark.
Sorry, my cat keeps meowing, so I keep pushing
the mic on mute. Let the cat meow. Let the cat meow. It's all good.
But yeah, so no, it's pretty much perfect. I have to say, like, like for what you were going for, you've just nailed it, and it's the lighting that just brings it to life. Like it's just it really creates that atmosphere. Even just the trickle of light coming down from above as well, and the ceiling. It's so. I could be looking at the works of Ridley Scott here if he dabbled in such things. You never know. Someday Disney might buy Netflix and we'll actually see something like this. Could happen.
Yeah.
But again, this is where the lighting is so important, and I just think you've absolutely nailed that. Let's just say hello to Monster Pan Pan. Hello, what's happening? Well, we're having a live stream, Pan Pan, and it's about toy photography. This is Layne from GalacticPhotography66, and he's showcasing some of his awesome toy photography. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Let's move on. Again, awesome, love it. This one here, well, we know what's going on here. Again, I'm liking the fact that you've got Vader in the front and he's slightly kind of sort of like out of focus because the focus is on Ben. And Mark.
Yeah, so I'm feeling where we're channeling A New Hope here. Would I be correct in saying that? Because even that kind of over the shoulder with Vader, it feels like that moment where he kind of first, approaches him. Really, really cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. Lightsaber effects just really add to it because it makes it more than just, it's not just, I'm holding this plastic lightsaber because I'm an action figure. When you do the actual lightsaber effect, it brings it to life. Like it just, yeah, absolutely class. It really is. I'm gonna guess once again the light cruiser is back in action here. That's brilliant, man. Though I actually love that you can get that type of versatility out of a play set like that.
Yeah,
It's really, really class.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm really holding out.
Yeah, sorry, go on. Sorry, Layne.
Oh, sorry. I'm really holding out for some classic New Hope style walls sometime soon, just because
Yeah.
the colors are a little bit different, because this is a darker,
Well, they
almost
were
greenish
weren't they?
gray, and
The New Hope ones, they were grey, weren't they?
yeah. And I'm really holding out for some New Hope ones, hopefully sometime soonish. But
Yeah.
for now, this will be the stand-in.
Yeah. So Matt said the best toy photo he has taken is the SDCC chrysanthemum sitting on the Razor Crest toilet. Wow. Yeah. That was cool. We've got APD. Hello, sir. How are you? Even though he's known as Action Podcast, we still call him APD. The photo of Vader and Kenobi is awesome. Yeah, no, absolutely. And what is this? Nice photos. Do you guys have Instagram accounts? Yes, they do. And you can find their Instagram accounts in the description below to this live stream. So yeah, awesome. Next year, hopefully for the 50th. Yeah, hopefully. I was going to say, would you have taken it? Because I'm guessing that's the new Ben Kenobi, right, from TVC.
Yeah.
Would you have contemplated doing this photo if you didn't have the new Ben and you would have used an older one?
I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I do like the, because I don't remember which version it is I have. Maybe Saga Collection is the one that I have, other than this, but
Right.
it's, I don't know that I would have tried it. I mean, I may have given it, an attempt, but this one, if this one seemed like it was never coming, I may have done it. But this one, it did seem kind of like a good potential, probably going to happen.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was safe in giving it a go.
Okay, cool. Just one question. So you got Vader facing away.
Yep.
His lightsaber, you can't see the lightsaber. Was you tempted to put like a kind of like a slight reddish glow around, sort of like?
So I did think about it.
Yeah.
And I want to say I did even try it, and I just felt like it was kind of distracting from Obi-Wan whenever I put it on there.
Yeah.
Because the end of his saber lines up about with Obi-Wan's knee.
Right. Yeah.
So it felt a little distracting, and
No, fair enough.
Felt like it kind of like took away. But this was also, I think, the second, because I made a custom ceiling for the that, so you can kind of get the lines on Vader's helmet to be like those straight flat lines that they have in all the Imperial facilities. It's just a clear piece of plastic with electrical tape wrapped around it in bands.
Right.
But this was, I want to say, like the second time using that.
Okay.
So it was also kind of an experiment, to see how would it look with Vader, and with Obi-Wan in here.
It looks. I think it looks great. I really do, and I love the fact that you've got like a slight little bit of reflection off of Vader's helmet on the back there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's those little details that give it that sort of like realistic look. I think this is a great photo. So, according to Matt, the legacy Ben Kenobi is still a good figure, but this is the definitive Ben Kenobi. He is the definitive Ben Kenobi for the time being, until they re-release him again, which is going to be even more definitive. There you are. So I'm just saying that to wind him up. Mark, is there anything else that you want to sort of like say on this photo before we move on to the next one?
One thing I'll say, in my own Star Wars display, I have a Black Series dueling Vader and Kenobi, and I can say one thing: this TVC Kenobi, the Alec Guinness face is much better than the Black Series Kenobi. It's very, does a much better job of capturing his likeness, in my opinion, than the Black Series one.
Yeah.
And I think then the angle you've taken this shot at. Like, yeah, like that. No, and I'm not trying to, like, because I know it. We say it so much. You could get away with it being a shot, a still from a movie,
Yeah, yeah,
because his face, even being able to see, like, like his cheek lines and stuff like that, it's so lifelike. And I think because of how you've lit it, it's probably enhanced the shadowing in his face a bit to make it even more lifelike again. So it
yeah,
really is. It's yeah, it like even his hands look very realistic the way he's gripping the saber, and I'm guessing the articulation is pretty good. The soft goods really adds to it as well. It's such a lifelike image that you've managed to capture by putting it all together.
yeah.
Um, is that kind of strip of light that's behind Kenobi? Is that something that's in the play set, or did you have to put something in there to get that light to appear there, or what is?
So they're a part of the playset that there are little dividers that go between the wall sections that you have to light them yourself, but they have translucent plastic in there that you can put a
Okay, yeah,
light behind. And so I had like a little small tall LED back there behind those to kind of light that up. And you were talking about the hands holding the saber. That was probably the hardest part of the shot, only because that outer robe is so bulky, where once the arms come together, it was really hard to get him to like hold the saber and stay without wanting to like the arms to kind of pull apart because there's so
wow,
much fabric in there, and under the arms and at the elbows.
yeah.
So it was kind of playing with it of like pulling it this way a little bit and then moving the arm and then making sure this would stay and then getting him just right and then going, hey, don't breathe, don't move.
And snap. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
awesome. It's awesome. And what you're going, what you were just talking about, Bob, about the figures. Des has backed it up. It goes to show how the figures have evolved over the years.
Mhm.
The details of the new TVC figures. Yeah, absolutely. And then Matt has put, do you guys take a lot of photos using Black Series as well as TVC? Which line do you prefer to photograph? Well, okay, so we have sort of like gone through this. So for Matt, Layne, if you want to just give us a recap. A recap on you used to taking photos with Black Series, but now you've changed over to TVC.
Yeah. So I started out, doing toy photography with Black Series, but I always grew up collecting 3 3/4 inch. So I switched almost fully over to Black Series around Force Awakens until even just a couple, 2 or 3 years ago. And since then, I decided to really go full on in vintage collection with all the play sets and vehicles and all the things like that. And it was what I grew up collecting. So it was kind of a little return to, form. And from that point on, I slowly have been kind of downsizing Black Series and, you know, you can fit a lot of these guys in the same space that I fit Black Series in. So, it's
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
nicer, but still, um, the battle of, hey, this is a fun vehicle. Where's it going to go? I don't know. I'll figure out whenever, whenever it gets delivered.
yeah, yeah. And Boba, you are predominantly sort of like you photograph the bigger scale, don't you? The 6 inch.
Yeah, I would say, like, and purely, I suppose, from a practical point of view, I primarily collect Black Series these days as my main kind of Star Wars item that I collect. So I just have more of them lying around. Like, I have 3 3/4 inch figures from my childhood, but it's a lot of, Power the Force 2 and Saga
Mhm.
collection stuff. It's nowhere near as detailed as the modern figures. So they're a little bit iffy if you're trying to do anything decent looking with toy photography. Whereas my Black Series figures, they're detailed and big enough. One thing though, like, it's pretty clear, especially looking at Layne stuff, you can world build, I think, a lot better with 3 3/4 inch figures.
Yeah,
You can really fill out a scene or an area and bring it to life. Whereas like anybody who looks at my Instagram profile, like in a lot of my pictures, you'll rarely see more than like 4 or 5 figures at the most. Like at the most, just because once you start trying to squeeze more in, you're running out of space. The figures are big. It's awkward to set things up. Um, So if I was maybe just to go back and do it all again and just think about photography, maybe I would be leaning more towards 1/18 3 3/4 inch scale figures, whatever way you want to classify them. I do still love my Black series though. I still have fun displaying it and playing around with it. So I'll probably will continue to use it for my photos for the most part.
No worries, no worries. So Matt's put, thanks for repeating. That will teach me to show up late. Well, no, mate, listen, honestly, I appreciate you watching as and when, man. So no worries. And again, you've got your right to hear. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Vader, you are a toy. You're a child's plaything. Well, you've got some top level writing there, Layne, for sure. Absolutely. Cheers, JT. Okay, moving on. Again, absolutely stunning, and this is where the background makes all the difference. So you've gone from using the Moff Gideon hallway to using the Tantive 4 hallway, and I just think that looks absolutely superb because you've got the contrast right, because these are quite dark looking characters anyway, aren't they, with what they're wearing and stuff like that. So you kind of lose them against that black backdrop. Mark,
love it, absolutely love it. Yeah. Love the you mentioned the contrast there. Love the lighting, the red light coming in from the back there. Love even the reflection of the floors. I'm guessing it's got a nice shiny plastic to it, but I think it's very screen like those corridors do have very reflective floors when you see them in the movie, so it definitely works for the picture too. Love the just the whole visage we're getting here. The Slade kind of Mandalorian, leaned up against the wall, the bodies on the ground. It's just it like I said earlier with your other thoughts, it's the little details. I think they just add a lot to it. Great posing as well for our two main characters here, both like with the actual lightsaber pose, but also forgive me as well. I'm awful with character names for modern Star Wars, so that's why I'm not naming characters specifically.
So
like this could be like Dan and John.
We've got Kanan Jarrus with the lightsaber, and then you've got the Inquisitor. He's up against those facing the Inquisitor.
Yes, I recognize them as one of the Inquisitors, all right, from Kenobi. But no, absolutely fantastic shot. Once again, TVC showing they can do detail even at the smaller scale as well. That active playset, you've really gotten great use out of those corridors as well. Like it's such a nice setup you've got going on here.
I love the contrast between the lighting as well. So you've got the sort of like darker side and it's like roles reversed, because you've got the Sith guy there. He's normally representing the dark side, and he's kind of like he's like in a lighter kind of like part of the hallway. And then you've got Kanan, who's like obviously for the good guys, he's in a darker setting. So was that a conscious thing, or did you purposely do that, or was that just again happy accident?
It was a conscious thing. My thought with this one in building this kind of as like a story was that this was a force vision that Kanan was experiencing. Or that maybe that the Grand Inquisitor was forcing him to go through. In that, he lost all of the people closest to him, because you've got, Sabine and Ezra, and over on this side, you've got Hera and you've got Zeb.
Is that Ezra on the floor?
Yep. Ezra underneath the Grand Inquisitor.
There you go, man. That's who he's standing on, mate. Ezra Bridger. Bridger. Get my teeth in.
Yeah, Ezra, and then Hera is over here right behind him, and then Zeb is actually laying right behind Kanan's legs. So it was kind of a play on Luke seeing himself as Vader, that like Kanan seeing his worst fear of losing all these people. And so he kind of is represented more on the dark side of things, because that's what he's feeling in that moment. Where the Grand Inquisitor is, he's there as part of the vision, but Kanan in this moment, that that fear and anger that he's feeling is a little more dark side-ish.
I love the fact that the Inquisitor, he's not got his lightsaber drawn. I think that's pretty cool. What was you thinking behind that, not having his lightsaber drawn?
It was a dialogue moment for me. And in my head, it was kind of him taunting in a way. I feel like in Rebels we see him kind of taunt and say like, well, you you're not going to be able to do this. You can't save them. It's too late. So he didn't really need to intimidate Kanan with his weapon because he's already done the thing. He's just here as kind of some psychological manipulation.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Again, you've got your writer here. Draw your lightsaber. No, first, do you like my boots? There you go. See, and yeah, thanks. Can see it now. Yeah, I did wonder who that was as well, Pan Pan. And then, like Layne said about it being Ezra. What I love about your photography so far and the ones that we've seen, Layne, is the fact that you're going into it with a story in mind. And I just think that's absolutely superb because that story is coming out through that picture. And I just think it's absolutely superb what you're doing. Mark, is there anything else you want to say on this one before we move on to the next one?
No, it's a great picture, and once again, the lighting contrast with the red lighting and then the lighter kind of blue shading. I think it really makes it stand out.
Yeah,
it's one of those things as well. I can kind of imagine like either side of what we're seeing. There's like more, victims or bodies or what have you scattered throughout the corridor. If that scene was to continue on, or we were to get a shot panning out or whatever. But yeah, no, I absolutely love it. And even though wouldn't have the best knowledge of some of the newer Star Wars shows, so I don't really know the characters as well, I can still appreciate like just a really nice, beautiful shot. It's really well done. Really well done.
Yeah. I mean, the Rebels crew, Mark, they were quite a tight bunch and stuff like that. So I think for Kanan to lose those people close to him, I think, would have been is it probably, I would liken it to Order 66, where people are, the Jedi are being taken out and stuff like that. And I think it's probably, for Kanan, that's probably his, like, Order 66 there when he's got his friends and family, like, in front of him like that. Do you think, Layne, it would make a difference to your photography if you didn't have a story in mind? You just chucked the figures in there, took snaps?
Yeah, there are times that I try to do that, and I find that, at least for me, like it's not that necessarily the shots are bad, but I find it a lot harder to personally be pleased with a shot if I don't go in with a story idea, or I can't find a story in it. Like the days that I'm just like, I'm going to take these figures and take them outside in the front yard and take a picture, I usually, more times than not, will come in and I won't have a picture I want to post or use. Just because I wasn't able to connect with it as much.
Fair enough. What about you, Mark? Do you normally have a story, or are you just happy to shoot?
And sometimes I might have a story in my mind. Other times it's more possibly like an idea. I'm also kind of fond sometimes of literally doing like glamour shots. Like if I like the look of a certain figure, I might just find a way to try and take a few flattering photos without there being any real story or meaning behind them, other than to say, look at how cool this particular character is, or so. But like I can see both sides of it, and I can appreciate both sides of it. And like what Layne does, I think, is he kind of makes you believe you're getting a glimpse into a world. Like there's like you're seeing what you're seeing, but more than what you're seeing is actually going on in the broader context. And that's what I like about Layne's photos. Like it gets the imagination flowing when you're looking at his stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Pan's put, it must take ages setting up a shot.
More often than not, it does take a long time.
Yeah. I can imagine. Well, I mean, we know because we've had discussions before on different pictures that you've shown us and how long it can take. What's this? Rebels is my favorite Star Wars tune. I'd imagine it would, Pan, but it's a good excuse to pick up and play. Yeah. I mean, you must kind of get a sense of self-satisfaction when you've spent all that time thinking about what you want to do, and you have the image in your mind, and then that image comes out as good as this. I mean, do you kind of get the feeling sometimes that you kind of like outdo yourself and you think, wow, this is better than I thought it was going to be?
Yeah, there's a lot of times that I go and I get a picture done and I get it onto my computer and do my editing and stuff and I go, yeah, who made that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Superb,
you
man.
know, and it's and part of that is because I'm going to be more critical of things that I'm making myself than I need to be anyway, just
Yeah.
my nature. But there are times where I look at it, I'm like, hey, yeah, I don't know who made that.
I mean, it's got to be hard because I mean, I know we've had this discussion with many other people as well. It's knowing when to get the right shot.
Mm-hmm.
Or knowing when you've got that right shot, because I mean, you
Yeah.
could be here for like, you could set up for, so like about an hour getting it set up with all the lighting and all the, the atmospheric conditions and stuff like that. Then taking the photos because someone's not in the right place and stuff like that. I mean, I think for me that would be probably the part that would be the probably not knowing when you've got that right shot. So when you set up, how many shots do you take before you think, right, that is enough? When do you know, and when you've got that shot, or is it just a case of carrying on going?
It kind of it varies. Like because there's some shots that like if I sit and I'm thinking on it all day or whatever. Like if I get up on this morning or whatever, and I had an idea and I've thought about it all morning. Then there's times that I come down, I do the setup and get everybody where I want them. I take the picture and I go, and I have maybe you know 5 or 6 takes of it to make sure it's exactly how I want it. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this is fine. But then there's other times that like you said, like I come down, I get the setup done. I'm like, okay, I think I like this. I get the camera in place and I go, nope, these people aren't where they need to be. Take it. Don't like them there. Don't like it there. This light needs to move. This light needs to go over there. And those are much longer, days.
Yeah,
I mean, I've come out of here with 20 pictures for one or 40 pictures for one if I don't like it, or um, it really does vary depending on the shot. And usually the more figures that are involved, the more actual pictures I'll end up taking because
yeah.
there's more I'm going to have to tweak and make sure it all sits where I want it to.
This may sound like a weird question, but can you see it through the lens when you've got that right shot, as opposed to, because I know that when I do filming, I can look at a figure and he
Mhm.
would look totally different. He'd look a certain way. I get behind the camera and he looks,
Yeah.
it probably looks like a little bit darker or a little bit like paler sort of thing. Is that the same when you're taking a toy photography photo?
Yeah, I plan a lot, because there's kind of that double-edged thing of like I've got in my mind what I want it to look like, and then
Yeah,
I've got what the camera is actually capable of producing.
yeah,
So there is that difference of like, oh, I'm holding this figure here and he looks great, and then you get him in a little bit of different lighting, and you're like, well, that shadow didn't hit right, and now that looks nothing like Han Solo. Like
yeah,
and finding that balance is part of the challenge, I feel like, doing it. And another part of where those multiple takes will come in is whenever, it's like got to turn him just a little bit. But then if he's talking to somebody, it doesn't look like he's looking at them anymore to talk to him. It looks like he's looking over here and not,
yeah,
instead of actually looking at them to talk or pointing his blaster at them. And now the blaster looks like it's aimed over here and in who knows where, or so that is definitely part of it. But once it gets to that point of the balance is right,
yeah,
um, I usually will be able to tell, like in camera, like, okay, this looks the way I want. This looks right, and then I'll take it into, after I take it, I'll put it on my computer and do my color adjustments and contrast adjustments and things
yeah.
like that. That little bit of post processing that I do.
Okay, cool. Mark, is there anything else you want to add to this one before we move on to the next one?
Oh no, I absolutely love it. I really, really love it. I think it's the lighting once again and that
Yeah,
contrast that really adds to it. It's probably something that would look nice actually framed, like in a nice frame on a wall. It's just a beautiful shot.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Right, let's move on. What we got next? See, this is the fun one. I like this. So, are you outside with this one, Layne?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We made a jump outside.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Mark?
Beautiful. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Did you do a behind the scenes reel on this one on your
I
Instagram, possibly.
think so. I think so.
The street, it looks familiar. The scene looks familiar to me. Like I've seen it in movement before, but once again, it's light, the kind of Mando walking down the street there, and I can actually see like he's in mid strut, like he's in movement. I love that. The dude with the vibro axe like shouting across the street. It's the hustle and bustle of like a market street. Like you got that movement. You got people sitting to the side. You got droids in the background. A lot of stuff going on. It just, yeah, absolutely love it. Really, really top notch stuff.
Definitely a very busy shot, and I love the way that you've got like the vintage Kenner and Manaman right in the front there. So I think that's a lovely touch. I mean, yeah, look at that. Yay, a Manaman.
Yep.
Oh, and Connor. Oh man, that backdrop is awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So when you take the photograph outside, Layne, what are the different challenges that you have taken a photo outside? Because I know Mark predominantly takes all of his outside, so he's kind of used to the elements. I mean, do you normally do all yours in like indoors in the studio with the lighting? So how different is it when you're doing it outside compared to indoors? What are the different challenges that you have?
So I love to take some pictures outside. Winter makes it a little rough, sometimes. Just and right around my house, I'm kind of limited on scenery, so there's not a whole lot of space for me to change it. So in winter, it's harder to go hiking or go, do things like that just because it's cold and gross, and don't really want to be out in that. But I do love to take figures on like a hike though, and just like find a nice little creek or a nice little rocks or things like that I can stand them on and around. But outside, it definitely has some challenges. The number one is usually wind. Especially with as light as vintage collection figures are, and even like this, like the Streets of Mos Eisley playset is, like, it's so thin and light that, and there's not really a good way to weigh it down. That like if the wind blows, then the wall could fall over or move, or figures could fall over. And then shadow can be a little bit of a hassle sometimes. Like if the sunlight's coming from in front of me and I really love it and I want that sunlight hitting them like on the face, to get that, it can be hard to get not my shadow in front of their shadow. But yeah, I love going outside, especially now that it's, here it's getting nicer outside. It's getting sunnier and warmer, and it's getting a little better. So I plan to take some figures outside a little more.
Okay, cool. Look forward to seeing that for sure. So we've got Des saying some older world building figures there. Gagara, is that Gagara is from 2000-ish, and then he's put scratch that. Gagara was Saga 2, so 2006. Pan's asked, what do you use for the ground? I'm guessing that's just a normal pavement or sidewalk.
That's just sidewalk, going right up to my house. Wow. So it's nothing fancy on that one.
The more I look at this shot, the more I think it's pretty cool, because I think you've got the spacing just right with the two play sets, how sort of like narrow that street is. I think that's absolutely spot on, because I think any wider than that, I don't think you'd have got that effect. I think it would have been too busy. Let's just too wide apart. Evening, lovely shot. If you need to muddy up the Mos Eisley set, Stu can tell you all about that. God damn it. So I've got the Streets of Mos Eisley set, and I thought, well, it does look very clean, especially for being on a desert planet. So I saw a guy on YouTube. I'm not going to claim the idea as my own. I borrowed someone else's idea, and I got an old used tea bag and just dabbed splodges over it, and it's come out all right. I'm very happy with it. And these guys they're being disgusting, Layne. Don't take any notice of them. It's shocking stuff. What's this? Hey, Delvian. Was just wondering if you were about. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm hoping you're doing well as well. And been having a little break, Des. Well, bless you. I'm hoping you're okay. Yeah, Mark, is there anything else that you want to add to this one?
I'm just loving I'm really loving the backdrop. Is that
Yeah.
like the bonnet of a land speeder I can see in the background? Yeah, I
Yeah.
love like and that adds to the kind of the realism as well. Like I feel like I could go round the corner either to my left or to my right, and there'd be another busy street there. Like that's what
Yeah.
it feels like. It's natural. I don't feel like I'm just looking at a little diorama setup just for this shot. Like it feels like there could be another hustle and bustling street on either side of this picture, and
Yeah.
that's that's the beauty of it.
That's a very bright looking droid you've got there as well, next to the land speeder. Is that a yellow one? Is that yellow or is that like an
Yeah.
orange? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a yellowy orange. I want to say it's maybe one of the Disney Droid Factory
Right. Okay.
releases. I can't remember if it was in a multi-pack or if it was, one that was on like an individual card.
It certainly stands out. Let's put it that way. It certainly
Yeah,
stands out.
he's very
Yeah.
bright.
But for good though. And going back to the conversation we had a little bit earlier at the beginning of the stream about the Black Series, it would have been really difficult for you to have done something like this with Black Series figures. Yeah. So I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wow. Yeah. I just love this, and I love the fact as well that you get the different element from the actual natural light as well, the outside light.
Yeah, and it's fun to work with that because whenever you're outside, you can't really change it. You just have to work best with what you have.
Yeah.
Of sunlight. So sometimes it's nice when it's a little overcast because this day was a little overcast, so there's not really a lot of harsh shadows that you have to worry about or anything like that. But I love this droid too from Mando with like it's an astromech with legs and arms. I was like, such a wild design, but I love that they made him and that Disney, put him into the Droid Factory line.
Yeah.
In that whatever, I think it was a 3 or 4 pack or whichever one. And I was like, I hadn't featured him on the page since I got him, and I got him a long time ago. And I was like, I feel like I need to figure out a way that he can have a little starring moment.
He does look pretty cool. I've got to say, I've not got that figure yet, but I think he looks pretty cool. So Power Pans, but who is the female character on the right? And I think Des has already answered that. It's Val Sartha, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
It's so cool. It really is awesome.
I love how she's posed. I love how she posed like with the leg up. It's really, really nice. Just it's natural. Like it's it's the busy street. People are going about their day-to-day business. Like it's something that's kind of fantastical looking to us, but in Star Wars Galaxy, it's just another day of the busy streets of Mos Eisley. It's just captured so well. I love it.
Again, I can see it now. Just a couple more questions on this one. Were you tempted to put like down a different type of ground, like sand or anything like that, or were you quite happy with the concrete?
I would really like something. I don't know if I just need to get some sand or make kind of like find some fabric that looks a little sandy that I could kind of smush up around the edges, because I don't like the harsh edges between like the ends of the stairs and the concrete.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can really tell that they're two different materials. So I do want to find something better, whether that's actually like just putting some sand down around that, like that area, to kind of blend the two and make it match better. But I do want to find an option for that, because I don't like how starkly different they are.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, don't get me wrong, it's not taking anything away from the shot. But I think it looks pretty cool. I was just wondering if that was something that you're conscious about. And the second question was, do you take additional lighting out with you to do something like this, or are you just completely dependent on the natural light?
This one was completely natural light. But for some, if I've got lightsabers or things like that, depending on the light, I may bring out one of my little LEDs. so that I can kind of like throw that lightsaber collar onto the character so it looks like they, actually have that glow. But for the most part, when I go outside, it's just fully natural light. I may have like a little piece of foam or like like something I can bounce some light back on them with to kind of soften shadows. But I try to keep it when I go outside. I try to keep it as much natural light as I can.
Fair play, fair play. Let's just quickly catch up in the chat. Badger said there is a pre-crinkled hobby paper I buy at Michael's. It is flat paper but looks like sand or rocks. Okay, there's that.
Yeah.
And TJC says, why not try play sand? Cheap to get. Well,
yeah, that would be. Yeah, that would. Either one of those would be good.
Okay, cool beans. Thank you, guys. Right, Mark. Before we move on to the next one, anything else you want to say on this one?
Just I'm blown away by it. Really, I was even thinking that like I know it's the Mos Eisley streets, but I was kind of thinking, you could get away with this for like a few other type of scenes. Like I was thinking like Indiana Jones, like streets of Cairo. If you just got a few like little stalls or stuff like that. Especially just seeing how you've used previous sets to great effect. Like it's kind of just got my mind running a bit kind of wild now, thinking, oh, I wonder could you use it for this or use it for that. But no, I just love it. There's a real sense of depth to it. I think that's what I like the most about it. Like I said, it feels like that Mando who's walking, I feel like I could follow him around the corner and like see him walking down the street. So no, you've really nailed it. You've really nailed it with this one.
I mean, just touching on Mark's point there about the playsets. I mean, they are the TVC playsets. I mean, you've done it before with the Moff Gideon hallway. It's what's the word I'm looking for? You can use it for multiple different shots and stuff like that in different scenes. And again, the same with this. You could use it, like Mark said, for Indiana Jones. I'm guessing you couldn't really do that with 6-inch.
Yeah, and I feel like 6-inch scale. Like I still have actually some of them, but like the third-party space walls that like GTP Toys did. But I feel like, and you can buy some like diorama pieces and stuff, and some of those look, I think, really, really incredible.
Yeah.
That people have made, and a lot of people do like 3D printed pieces now in both scales. But I do feel like making something like this that's kind of almost like a full surround for the figures, like I feel like would be a lot harder for me in 6-inch scale, just because it goes from being a setup that's takes up a little room on my sidewalk to being the whole sidewalk.
No, fair play. Yeah. No, awesome. Another great photo. Right, what have we got next? I mean, this says it all. This is just so damn menacing. I love this, Mark.
Too cool, man. Just too cool. Love the light coming from both sabers. The kind of the anticipation, like is Maul going to come in and just like slaughter these troops? Probably. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I have no idea how you've pulled this off, especially the background behind Maul, like the doorway he's walking through. No, 100%. I don't actually believe that this is a toy photo. It's not really a toy photo. It's actually just a still from an unreleased movie or TV show.
Well, it's out the Maul TV show, and it really is. I mean, it is that good. I mean, that is just absolutely incredible. Wow.
Beautiful.
This one was a lot of fun. I did it right after the first trailer for Maul came out.
Okay.
So this was one that I did based on the visuals we saw. I wanted to make something that looked like it belonged in the Maul show, but we had only seen the trailer yet so far. So I kind of went based on that to kind of capture it. We're back to Moff Gideon's light cruiser again. For the doors and for the wall, or for the floor. For the scene of Coruscant in the background, which in Maul could be Janix. That is a TV screen with just a screen grab from Revenge of the Sith. That I use kind of almost like they do the volume, you know, on like Mando and those shows, so that you get those reflections on the floor. And kind of there's no light to bounce off of any characters or anything here, but you can kind of get that reflection on characters that have, you know, that would have reflection on armor or whatever. But that was this one, and it was a lot of fun. It's a combination of this shot taken 3 times.
Okay.
So I took, because I only had one little LED I could use for Maul's saber.
Right.
So I got a clean shot of Maul with no lightsaber light at all.
Right.
A shot with the lightsaber coming from the left, and then a shot with it coming from the right, and then essentially erased, but kind of, you know, erased the sections on the clean one to get that light coming kind of reflected on both sides of his face and on the poncho and on his legs and then on the walls. So it's kind of and there's a little bit on the clone troopers, but not a whole lot back that far. But so it's kind of a composite of the 3 to make it into one finished shot.
Again, it's the attention to detail, because you have got that slight haze around the lightsabers, and that's probably something that I probably wouldn't even have thought about when it comes to taking this kind of photo. To have that screen in the background, I honestly thought it was actually outside, because that sky looks. I thought this had been taken outside. You know, it's just absolutely brilliant. And then you've got like a little bit of lighting on the floor at the back there, just in front of the screen, or is that part of the screen? I can't tell what's what.
Yeah, so that's all reflection from the screen, just of like the cityscape that's down there.
Yeah, just incredible. And again, I love the way you've got the troopers in the foreground, but they're slightly just out of focus, because the focus is Maul. You've got him in that awesome walking pose. I mean, he's just such a cool character. And yeah, I'm again blown away by this. Mark, is there anything else you want to say, man?
I think it's genius, the process you've described for how you did your lightsabers. Like, that's proper, like, you know, ILM back in the 80s type of thinking there. Like, you know, it's really just, you know, it's just a very, very clever way that you manage to pull it off. Like, and even just to be able to have the screen set up in the background to do the Coruscant scape, and it's not really interfering with the light inside this corridor. Like, it's not infecting it with, you know, like a bright screen light kind of shining down and maybe giving them a bit of a silhouette. Whatever way you've managed to set it up, like the interior lighting, even the way the light that's coming from above that's hitting the troopers, like, that's beautiful as well. This is, I don't know, I'm kind of torn between this and the Demigorgon one, but as to which was my favorite one that I've seen. But no, this is really something special, and I think the effort shows on what you've kind of done here, and just the cleverness of how you've done the lighting, the red lighting with the lightsaber is just brilliant, really brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning. Let's move on, because we've got more. Again, just
Wow.
Just absolutely awesome. The lighting, the posing and stuff like that. I mean, are you standing there like that, holding the figure by his head?
So I tried to do that, and he got a little too motion blurry. So I found one of the stands I still had from one of my 1/12 figures.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I think it's one I still have. It's the Mezco 1/12, the Crow, which was funny because it was the stand for the Crow, and then they, you know, call him the Crow in all the things, words. But so what I ended up settling on, because the clip on that wasn't tight enough to hold him, so I got painter's tape, and I painter's taped around his head to hold him in place on the stand, and then it held him kind of dangling there. That is one I did do a behind the scenes. I think I did a behind the scenes video on this one that I think's on my Instagram. And you can kind of see it a little bit in there.
Wow. Mark?
I love it. Yeah, and you know, you kind of got to make use of the tools you have to hand, you know, to pull off these effects. I was kind of like Stu at the beginning. I was like, did you just were you kind of like holding it with one hand and like trying to like line up the camera? But no, that's awesome, man. And nothing like seeing you know, the forced choke, the forced levitation in action. As always, the lightsaber looks brilliant. And is that part of like, is this the Mos Eisley streets again, or is this a different type of playset? This the same
So
playset?
this is the outside door from the HasLab Cantina.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But because it's to do it, I couldn't really have the rest of the cantina set up because otherwise it would, you know, it was way too much room. So what I did for the doorway is there's a piece of paper there that I'm lighting from the back so that it looks like it's lit up, because if I didn't, you would just see through to a dark void, or you would see the light that I had in there to light up the little sign above the door.
Ask how you did that. I was going to ask how you did that. That is genius, absolute genius.
So it's just a little piece of paper, and then for the sky back there behind it is the TV again, so that you kind of have that blue nighttime sky without it just looking like it's like stark solid black.
Wow. What is this in the front to the bottom right? Is that another character there, or is that a droid?
So that is, I found forever ago at a yard sale. It was probably from maybe the 70s or 80s. It was a rocket ship model kit, and it's this metallic-y gray. And so I don't think I have any of the pieces nearby that I could show. But so it looked kind of Star Warsy, you know, because it's just like this little metally, rivety thing. And I needed something to go there because it felt empty, kind of in the foreground. And so I put that in there, and then inside it, I put a gonk droid. And you can see like the head of the droid kind of peeking up there over the top a little bit. And then there's some little foam rocks down here at the bottom to kind of fill in some of that.
I've just noticed Rees in the background.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sitting there looking, and I'm looking at the picture, but I'm so drawn to the guy in the front with the lightsaber and the guy who's been levitated, and then you've got someone in the corner by the cantina door.
That's two tubes.
Okay.
Wow. And then actually you can't really see, but over here on the ground next to Rees is another person. I don't remember who it was. Maybe Veligan. Might have been Veligan, but just kind of seated down.
Okay. Oh, is that her? Is that her face sort of like kind of lit up by the lightsaber?
Wow. Yeah, so she's kind of like hunkered down, leaning on the, you know, kind of leaned up against the door, kind of trying to lay low.
Yeah. Mark,
I know it's cool. It's like there's these like little Easter eggs in your pictures because, you know, like we were saying earlier, like there's certain characters, they might just be in the background, slightly out of focus, but because you see these kind of familiar Star Wars character silhouettes, and your eyes will be drawn to them. So even if they're not the focus of the shot, your mind does wonder, you know, who is that? You know, is it Rees? Is it, you know, is it supposed to be Rees? You know, it's no, it's awesome. I just love it. I love just the depth of it all. You know, it's like it's setting the scene.
Yeah. No, just stunning, and I love the simplicity of the effects you're using with that bit of paper to light it up and stuff like that, because just it gives it so much depth as well. That's the thing, it really does. It looks like you know, awesome.
Yeah, and then our person being levitated is the first release of Obi-Wan from the Obi-Wan series. Just without the brown cloak, because it felt like kind of plain clothes enough that it didn't feel like, you know, if he was going out trying to interrogate people and see where, you know, Maul is or you know, another, or, you know, a Jedi is, it felt plain clothes enough that it didn't feel like, oh, well, that's obviously this person, or that's obviously this person. I wanted to feel kind of just like a civilian, and that was the easiest one I found that felt kind of civilian.
Honestly, that's what you get. You know, that's the effect that you've got, because I think it's great that you only see him from like sort of like here up or here down. I think that's brilliant. It's absolutely awesome. Love it. What a great shot. Okay, I'm not too sure how many we've got left now, but we'll carry on. Again, the lighting on this is just absolutely superb. Wow, what a shot. And this is the Navarro Cantina playset, isn't it?
Yep, it's half Navarro Cantina, half Jabba's Palace playset again.
Wow.
The half over to the right, you can see like the Tauntaun head.
Yeah.
That's over here, and then the other half, all the way back to behind Mando, is the Navarro Cantina.
I mean, they're very similar in colors, because I'm looking at my Jabba's small playset there, and I know that the inside of the Navarro Cantina wasn't as detailed painted as what the Jabba's playset is. But when you've got it in this photo, you just can't tell. It just looks absolutely stunning. It really does. Mark, thoughts on this one, my friend?
It's like, yeah, I love it. It's like something out of spaghetti western, or it's something out of like the Mando show. It's like the aftermath of a shootout. I love seeing like the broken glass, bodies in the background. But yeah, it's the lighting that makes it. It feels hot and sweaty and dry, and some violence has just gone down. I really like what you've captured here. Who's the guy, the Mando kind of keeled over the bar? What character is that?
So all of the Mandalorians that are kind of all across the scene are from the Shriek-Hawk special pack thing they did in Vintage Collection. I think it was
4-pack.
I think it was three or four. Yeah, was it four?
Yeah.
So it's the four of them, and there was another one back there behind Mando, but he was so far in shadow you couldn't really see him anymore. Anyway, in the finished shot, but it's all of those, I think. And then I think that one over there over the bar is one of those as well. Because I grabbed them and all that, and it was the new Vintage Collection Mando that just came out, and I needed an opportunity for him to get in front of the camera as soon as possible. So
it's awesome, and Connor's put some fantastic reflection from Mando armor. Yeah, yeah, the thigh pad there just looks absolutely awesome. Wow.
And I love the little tiny bit of light right there on his visor.
Yeah,
right in the middle.
But again, the contrast, because you can't see one side of his face properly because of the shadow. So for that to be lit up like it is, it's just. And then I love the broken glass and the bits and bobs at the bottom of the screen there as well. It's just, and you've got some stools there as well, haven't you? I can see the stools.
Just it's a
real grittiness to it. That's what I like. It's just rough and ready. You can tell something action packed just went down.
Yeah, and I liked the idea of this was kind of Mando investigating. Like something had gone down, he walked into it, and this is what he found. And so he's trying to get down to the bottom of it and kind of figure out, track it back and see what happened here.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's just absolute quality. Mark, last comments on this one?
Yeah, I really, obviously, like I've watched the Mando show, and it's obviously a very Western, inspired show at times, and I think like I said, this is really capturing like that type of Western feel. It's like the outlaw saloon, whatever kind of spin you put in it. This is a wretched hive of scum and villainy, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say. I get this real kind of like, dive bar vibe, and it's the lighting really that makes it. It just really sets the atmosphere. Really great job.
The lighting on each of your photos that we've shown this far has just been top notch. It really has, and it, like you said, Layne, it's so important to get the lighting right, and each photo that you've taken, you've nailed the lighting. It just adds so much realism to it and stuff like that. The shadowing on the characters, the little bit of lighting on the characters. Again, I think we've said this to you before when we spoke to you last. You are bringing these figures to life. These shots are good enough to be any sort of like TV or film still. They really are that good. And to do this with the 3 3/4 inch is just unbelievable. I'm just blown away by some of these pictures. I really am. Again, Mark, just incredible, mate.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Standoff here with Cad Bane and Boba Fett. Beautiful, beautiful. And it's the rays of sunlight, or what at least I'm led to believe is sun coming through.
Yep.
That's so well done. That's so well done. I really love it.
Yeah.
So this one was it is outside, so it is real sunlight coming in with a little bit of atmosphere aerosol. This is another one. I think I put up a little tiny behind the scenes on Instagram, just like spraying the atmosphere aerosol in. But this was in an old like metal part of a metal blower. Like I don't know what it was for, but it has like a big like rotating like cylinder and all this stuff. And when the light shined down through that cylinder has slats on it. And whenever the light would shine through it just right, it would kind of shine down in there, and you get these like the lines that are on the wall and everything. So I tried spraying a little bit of atmosphere aerosol in there to see if it would catch the way that I wanted it to, and I saw that it did. So it was like I ran, grabbed Cad Bane and Boba, and was like, okay, got to get this done while the sunlight's right where it is, because I can't have it moved, because if the sun moves, this won't work the way that I want it to. But I was pretty happy with the way this one came out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Sorry, hi Paps, how are you? And hi Mudhorn. I just again it looks such a simple setup. You've just got two figures standing there, and I've said it loads of times. I'm loving the fact that you've got Boba Fett in the foreground. He's sort of like out of focus. We know it's him. We don't need to see him because the focus is on Cad Bane. But again, what you've done with that lighting and the atmospheric spray that you've used, just and again, it's 3 3/4 inch. I just absolutely blown away by this. It's just stunning. And then Cad Bane, he's got a little bit of light on him. Then he's like in shade and stuff like that, so you can't properly see him. Just incredible. Mark, is there anything else you want to say on this one? Oh, sorry, Layne.
It's about the draw. About to have who's going to pull the gun first, who's going to get off the first shot.
Yeah, just incredible.
Yeah, it was another one where I wanted to lean into kind of that Western, kind of feel, with this kind of standoff and the light and then kind of dramatic lighting. And really the main thing that I did on this one in terms of Cad Bane was afterwards I brightened up his eyes a little bit in editing, so that red, kind of orangey red, kind of glowed out of the darkness a little bit, just without it, you couldn't really see his eyes much. And I liked, kind of going all the way back to like the Doros and the Cantina, like their eyes had that little bit of glow to them. And so I wanted to add a little bit of that, just so you have all this kind of shadow and then just these reddish orange eyes that are kind of staring out at you from it.
Just incredible. And I'm sitting there looking at this, and I can feel the tension. It's like I put a TV on pause and stuff like that. I could just feel the tension between these two. It's just, you've captured that so well with the lighting and awesome. So far, I think this has to be probably my favorite. I love the characters, and I just love what you've done with them. It's just incredible. Are you still sticking with your favorites, Mark?
So far, yeah, I think so. I think, Demi Gorgon one's still just an inch and ahead, for me.
But it's so difficult. I mean, I know we did, the last time we had you on, you did your top 5. How difficult would it have been out of the ones that we've shown so far tonight to have picked the top 5?
Probably decently difficult. Partially because when it comes to ranking my own work, I am failure. So
Wow.
So I find it hard to rank my things, and I think it's
Yeah.
because like if I go back and look at them too much, I'm like, oh, but I could have done this a little bit different, and I could have changed this over here, and I kind of start nitpicking it. But definitely Demogorgon would have been up there.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely the Mando one we just looked at would have been up there.
Yeah.
And probably Shock T would have been up there. I feel like.
Okay. Cool. Right.
Awesome.
This is just insane. See, these are getting to my favorite ones now. And Mark,
it's just like, look, it's just a shot from A New Hope. Like, it's
yeah,
not believable. It is. Love the way we can see Greedo there off to the side. Really, really nice touch. The lighting here is really natural. Like
yeah,
it would be so easy to believe it was an interior shot of the cantina from
yeah,
the movie. So well done. The two different shades of lighting as well, I think, really add to it. You haven't just like duplicated over just the same bright light. No, it's so good. Even just the way that alcove is lit and how it just kind of it comes
yeah.
out of it. Brilliant, brilliant.
Because that's an outside window, isn't it? So you've got the sun coming in. But I love the way that you kind of lose one of the modal nodes within that light. Do you know what I mean? You lose, but then you've got the reflection of the guy next to him. Then you've got the guy that you can probably see standing to his, that would be his right. Just incredible. What an absolutely stunning shot. I love the foreground. You've got Greedo sitting one side. You've got a table there with the light on it and stuff like that. And I'm guessing that there's someone sitting there as well. But you've just again captured the mood, and just absolutely incredible. And then the guy standing up on the what side's that? That would be our left hand side. Yeah, just incredible. You've got the shadowing off of him as well. So just absolutely phenomenal. I love this shot. Let's just quickly catch up with the chat. All the photos are awesome, says Des. I certainly can't decide which one is best. Good job. It's not a competition. There you are. Absolutely. Just pick your favorite with a Mandalorian. You'll be good. That's Mudhorn. And then Pan. I can hear the music. Yeah. You can hear the music as you look at this one. You can. I mean, was that music going through your head when you were doing this?
Oh,
Layne?
yeah. That was I had it playing on my phone when I did this one on loop.
Oh, really? Wow.
The whole time. Yeah. It was the whole time. It was I don't know if there's a method photography like there's method acting, but it was definitely like I felt like I just had it playing off to the side and I was doing the setups. The hardest part of this one is I love the HasLab Cantina.
Yeah.
But those alcove walls are so thin that lighting them, the light just bleeds through like so much. I did a picture with Han and Greedo that I wanted to recreate kind of that scene. But the walls look like they're glowing red because it's so bright, and to get it to work. So for this one,
how did you get around it here then?
So I masked out the whole back of the cantina with painter's tape.
Okay.
And did 2 layers of it all over the entire back, which was enough to cut down on that light, because I had an LED light behind it shining through to emulate that sunlight. But that was the biggest challenge on this one, because I wanted it to have this look of like the shadow. And whenever the wall kind of glows, it kind of takes that away. And cantina walls don't glow. So that was the most difficult part on that one, was finding masking that out and making sure that it didn't bleed through. But now that it's all masked out on this one, I'm like, okay, I just need to do it on the rest of the walls, but as I use them for photography. But I do really love this one. It was one of my personal favorites, I think, out of the bunch that I sent.
Absolute quality. And I love the way that you've got the light just coming through that window, and down below their feet and stuff like that. It's all the contrast. It's dark. You can't see down there and stuff like that. I just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
and
Yeah.
this was another one that really the only two light sources in this shot are the light coming from the window, and then another one of those little circle
Yeah.
LEDs that we talked about earlier for that table.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you what lighting is it. Is it just this little bit of lighting that you've got for it then?
Yep. And then I had a piece of styrofoam that I use sometimes, kind of held off to the side up above, just to bounce a little bit back onto their faces.
Right. Yeah.
To kind of, so you can see them and they wouldn't be in full silhouette. Especially our lead member right there in the middle. But
yeah.
But in terms of actual lights, that was it. Those were the only two physical lights that I had for this setup.
Just stunning. Des wants to know, well, he says you did well getting them all in one booth. I mean, was that a bit of a struggle to get them all in one booth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I would take the roof off to put them on, but if one of them was just a little too close to where the roof needed to sit down, they would fall over when I put the roof back on it, and I couldn't like put my hand in there to hold them up, because then I'd knock over the others. So it was a battle.
I kind of cheated. So with mine, I've got mine, like I think I've got 5 of them in the booth, and I've got 2 of them standing outside the front of the booth. I just wasn't brave enough to try and get them all in. But
it's not worth it. It's not worth it. They can just stay outside.
Yeah, they will be. They will be. Mark, is there anything else that you want to add to this? I'm just blown away.
I absolutely love it, and I think it was a genius idea you had about masking up the back of the playset, because I've been there before myself when I would do shots inside. If the plastic is thin, the light will glow through from the other side, and that was just a really good idea you had, and it paid off, because just having that beam of light coming through the window, it's just perfect. It's just really, you nailed this one. It's actually like, if it wasn't for the fact that we are like toy collectors and stuff, and we're used to seeing these figures, like, so you can tell there's little telltale signs you're looking at an action figure if you see like the joint cut or whatever. But your average kind of person flicking through pictures would probably think it was a still from a movie, because of how well lit it actually is. It's just so well done.
Like the sticker albums you used to get, and or like the programs you used to get back in the day, and you used to have stills from the movie. That is exactly what this looks like. I think for me, now seeing this is my favorite. It's just banging, absolutely quality. Yeah, and I think we've still got 2 more left. We've got 2 more left, so let's crack on.
So good, so good, isn't it?
So simple, so effective. It just and to get that silhouette like those, like you got there, it's just breathtaking. It really is. And to be fair, that playset is probably one of the worst playsets you can ever get from TVC. It was, well, Connor says, I know too, mate. I know. But yeah, it's absolutely awful. So I've likened that playset, Layne, to you're going out, right? You go to a bar, you've had a couple of drinks, you see this absolutely fantastic looking, stunning girl, right? Which is this set here with all the lights and stuff like that. And then you wake up in the morning and it's just, what the France is that? Do you know what I mean? What have that you weren't like that last night, and it's exactly what this is like without the lights on. But yeah, Mark, I'll let you take over.
This is brilliant, and it's simplicity, but there also is a real element of skill here, because to pose those figures the way you have them posed, like to get them in an embrace, like that's pretty hard with these like Hasbro figures. But you've used the shadow, you've used the silhouette. It's a very natural, like it does look like they're holding each other in an embrace, and it's just so good. It's really, you've really pulled it off here so perfectly.
Yeah, getting them posed the way that I wanted was difficult, because especially with action figures, there's not as much, you don't have the flexibility to be like, you just need to lean a little more this way. And like there were times where it would feel like they were like this, like where it's like Han is like looming over top, looming over, or that Leia just felt like she was like leaned way back, you know, and Han's up like this, and Leia's like leaned too far.
Wait,
But once I kind of found that balance of getting them exactly where I needed, I was like, okay, this is where I want it to be. And I was happy with where they ended up on being posed for this one.
I mean, which Han Solo is that you're using?
That is the New Hope Han Solo.
Right. Okay.
And then the Bespin Escape Leia.
Yeah. I was, because I looked at the head and I thought, hang on a minute, and I've just looked at my Bespin Han. Why not use the Bespin Han?
You know, I didn't have it on hand, and New Hope Han was easier to get to, because he was on my little cantina shelf, so I just grabbed him, and I knew that they would be in silhouette anyway. So I was like, as long as you can tell it's Harrison Ford, you know, and Carrie Fisher, I was like, I feel like
the thing is, you can, from this profile, when he's all like shaded out, you can see that that's Harrison Ford. I can see that. It's really weird, and obviously you can tell that that's Carrie Fisher. But I just absolutely love it. So we've got Gunstar, and he's well, there you go. This is perfection. Well, absolutely, it's just absolutely stunning. Wow. Sorry, Layne, you were going to say, mate.
No, you're fine. And I feel like that New Hope Han, it is hard sometimes to make him look like Harrison Ford, because I feel like that figure, there are some angles that the sculpt really looks like Harrison, and then you turn it just a little bit and it's like, okay, who is this? Like, you know. But from the side, I feel like is one of the spots that it really does shine. That side profile, I feel like it really does look pretty consistently like Harrison.
And again, I'm guessing that the lighting that you've got behind the Bespin playset is the only light that you've got in this.
Yeah, just that one, and kind of a long exposure setup for this, so that you know, you can get a little more. Just because I didn't want to have to brighten it too much after the fact, just because I was afraid it would get kind of grainy and kind of, you know, everything. So I set it on, you know, it was, I don't remember what how long it was open, but probably like, I don't know, a quarter of a second or something like that, you know, to keep it open long enough to get all the light, and then set the focus where I wanted it to, so they didn't feel too, you know, I didn't want the background to feel too blurred, but I didn't want it to feel like everything was super in focus either, and they kind of lose definition in the front.
Yeah. What you've done is you've captured the romance there. You really have. It's such a simple. Well, say it's simple. I probably wouldn't get as good as this, but it looks so simple, but you've captured the romance between the two of them. It's just absolute stunning shot. This would make a lovely Valentine's Day card for my wife.
Yeah, well, and I think this was my Valentine's Day. I think this was my Valentine's Day post. Yeah, I think this was the one I did for Valentine's Day, to share out.
Yeah, no, that is awesome, man. Awesome. It shows how good the sculpt is. We can all tell it's awesome. Yeah, absolutely, Des. Yeah, absolutely. One of these days, they'll do a decent Mark Hamill. I don't know why it's so difficult. I really don't. Mark, sorry. Any last comments on this one?
No, it's so perfect, and I, as much praise as we're given the hand sculpt, I think the Leia one is equally as good. And because there is that shot briefly in Empire where they have that embrace before they're kind of pulled, they're separated, and before Han goes into the actual you know, the carbon freeze. No, and it's just you've captured that moment exactly, and it's just really nice. And it's probably the type of thing where, once again, you could lift this photo off your page, and if you were to put it just in like a general pictures of Star Wars type of feed, no one would probably even question that it wasn't, you know, actual actors or a still from like a production shot, you know, because it looks that good. You've really like nailed it there.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. Well, we have got one more, so let's carry on with this. And no, we haven't. That was the last one. I lied. I do apologize. Yeah, just absolutely mind-blowing.
Be a contender for favorite. I would say for me, the Demigorgon one I really liked. I do really like that silhouette though with Han and Leia, just because of the moment it's captured there. And then I would also do the Mando walking through the aftermath of whatever happened at that bar was a really good one as well. I'm still just inching ahead of both of those though. I'm still going to go with the Demigorgon for my personal favorite one from today.
Wow. So if I had to choose a top 5, I would go definitely the Demigorgon. I would do Darth Maul. I would have the Mando. I'd definitely have the Molten Odes and the Cantina, and I'd have the one we've just seen, the Han and Leia. Layne, I've got to say, I'm just, I thought your toy photography was good when you did, you did your Black Series and stuff like that, when we did your top 5 a couple of years ago. You've just blown me away with the quality, the attention to detail of your photography, and it's 3 3/4 inch. Every single one of those photos that you've shown tonight, they could have been from the movie themselves or a TV show. They were that good. You've brought action figures to life. It's just incredible what you can do with a camera. You are one talented son of a gun when it comes to toy photography. I've got to say, just blown away, and it's been an absolute delight and pleasure for you to go through your toy photography with us. Mark, is there anything you want to add to that, mate?
Well, man, I'll definitely echo Stu's sentiments. You've got unbelievable talent, and yeah, you're just continually rocking and rolling with this, because it's been 2 years since the 3 of us last got around and had a discussion, and your photos have only gotten better and better. And look, we could go on to your Instagram and probably easily pluck 10 more, 20 more. That's like, because obviously, like, we're picking our favorites. It's not like there was any bad photos. All the photos were brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Like, they were so good, all of them. No, man, you've got the tools, you got the talents, and I just hope you keep going, because I love your work.
Yeah, absolutely. Before you say anything, Layne, let's just quickly catch up with the chat. So, fantastic photos, as always. Great work by the fans. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Des. Absolutely superb, mate. And Lord Scale for a reason. There you are, 3 3/4 inch. What I will ask, Layne, is, have you ever thought of selling some of your prints? I mean, have you ever thought about doing like an album or something like that of some of your prints, and then just maybe like a little bit of a bio about how you went about doing it and the processes that you used? Because, mate, I would definitely, if you started a Kickstarter, I would back you, man. I would back you.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. I have thought about it, of like trying to find a way to sell either like some individual prints or things like that.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I guess I've just never, I've never pushed the pedal and said I'm going to do it, And I guess that's probably more a me thing than it is anything. But I would love the idea of doing that in the future. I know there is a little tiny local con where I'm at this summer that I'm gonna. They're doing like free tables for setup. It's like just a very tiny thing, but I'm gonna set up a table there, so that'll be kind of a first time selling anything that I've done. But I've really only ever seen any toy photography I've done printed out like one time ever. Like, I've never printed it out. I've never done anything like that with it, even just to have personally or anything. So I don't know why I've never really jumped into that, and like trying to find a way to sell it. But I'm not opposed to it. Like, I'm very open to finding a way that works, that I could maybe have another way to get some.
Well, what I say in the most politest, direct, bluntest way is that your artwork or your photography would look fucking great on my wall. It really would. So I would definitely be interested in buying some of your prints, mate. If that's if you're happy to go down that route, I would love to. Are you going to Joe Fest?
No, okay. I won't be at Joe Fest.
No, I got it.
I did want to especially because I know everybody was talking about it on the charity stream.
Yeah.
But between debates about tea or coffee, but
yeah,
but yeah, I wanted to, and I definitely do want to find one though that going to cons is something that I want to try and get better about. Just because I do think it'd be cool to get a little more involved with the community and see some of the familiar faces and all the things.
I think you'd be great with a stall. I think you'd garner interest, especially at somewhere like a Star Wars con or something like that, or even just like any con really. I mean, your toy photography is that good. It is that good. I'm not just saying that because you're on here. I mean, me and Mark have discussed before. Just absolutely superb, mate. And yeah, fantastic stuff. Let's just catch up on the chat again. So what's this? I'm sure I've seen toy photography for sale at Echo Live. Yes, yeah. So that would be Sidious Art. I know Andy. He was on. We spoke to Andy before, didn't we, Mark? A while back, and he does 3 3/4 inch. He does the vintage Kenner figures. So again, absolutely awesome with the lighting and what he does. So yeah, so he goes to Echo. What's this? There is no debate.
I've kickstarted it.
I've kickstarted it. No. We've had to stop this.
I opened up the can of worms.
You have. And what's this? Coffee. I'm an Englishman, but oh god, no tea and coffee. Before we go, where can people find you on social media, Layne?
You can find me on Instagram. Normally that's the place I'm at most of the time. Instagram, I'm GalacticPhotography66. I do have a YouTube, but I have maybe shared one thing on there like 3 years ago, so that's not the best place to find me.
Okay.
So Instagram's the easiest way, probably, to find me.
Okay, you've got a page on Facebook?
I do. I'm not as active over there.
I hope it's you.
Yeah, it should be. I think it's GalacticPhotography66 too.
Yeah.
So and again, it should be all the
on X as well, yeah.
What is it?
And on X as well, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the liberty of putting your social media links in the description below. So if people want to check out Layne, go check him out. Also, if you want to check out BobaHicks as well, his link is also in the description below. Right. We've gone over 2 hours, so I think it's time to call it a night. Yep. Mark, any final comments?
Just had a great time. I always have a great time doing these toy photography discussions. I'm really glad we were able to get Layne back on, and hopefully we won't wait another 2 years till the next time. We'll try and get you on a bit sooner because
I can't believe it's 2 years.
You've churned out so much good work. We want to kind of keep up with you and follow up and see how things are going with you down the line. So definitely look forward to doing something like this again with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Layne, is there anything you want to say, man, before we go?
Yeah. I want to thank you guys so much for all your kind words. I didn't really get a chance to say it as we were going through pictures, but it really does mean a lot. I appreciate all the feedback and all the kind words from you guys and everybody in the chat. I do it, at the end of the day, I like to do it because I always loved to play with toys as a kid, and this is a way to keep it going as an adult,
Yeah.
So, having all the good feedback is always feels good. And, I always like an opportunity to play with action figures.
No. The feedback and the compliments are, I think, very well deserved. Like we've both said, you're a fantastic photographer, and what you do is bring these figures to life. Mark's absolutely spot on. We'll get you on again because I don't want to leave it 2 years. I do want to get, because I know you're a big collector of Star Wars as well, so I need to get you on and discuss your Star Wars collection so you can showcase your collection as well. So we'll get that organized as well. Before we go, let's just quickly catch up on the chat. So we've got great photographs, talented photographer, fun live stream, awesome chat. Thank you very much, man. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much, Kieran. Good night, Pam. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you, Stu, for the stream. Great work, guys. Cheers to all in the chat. Much appreciated, JT. Thank you. And there you go. Play with your toys. Hashtag play with your toys. I just want to say thanks to BobaHicks as well. I love doing these kind of live streams with you. You bring so much to the table. Thank you very much. I love the way you chat and stuff like that. I just think you're absolutely brilliant. You speak really well. Layne, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. And to you guys in the chat, thank you so much. It does mean a lot. Take care. Stay safe. Oh, sorry. Next week, I will be back again at 8 p.m. I'm going to be doing another solo live stream. I've got some boxes to unopen. So that'd be fun. Right. Catch you later. Take care. Stay safe. And we'll see you soon. Bye for now.